Hi everybody, it's Saya G. Dan, Saya Miles, and I want to talk about a concept that I like to call the effective zone. You need to assume that everything around your bad guy, they're good at. You need to assume they can hit you from anywhere. You need to assume they can kick you from anywhere. You need to be safe, you need to be cautious, and you need to pay attention. However, having said that, there is a spot that people like to fight. And I call that spot the effective zone. What is an effective zone? Saya Miles, put your arms out. Okay, Saya Miles has his arms out, they're pretty wide, right? Now, this is 180, that's not an effective zone. This is 90, that's an effective zone. Okay? 90 degrees out from you as a center point. 45 degrees this way, 45 degrees this way. This is my power zone. This is where my punches go through. This is where my kicks come across. Okay? I'm kicking inside of the zone. I'm moving on the 45s and punching into my power zone. I'm stepping out and kneeing into my power zone. This is my effective zone. This is where I am most effective as a fighter. This is where you are most effective as a fighter. This is where the bad guy is most effective as a fighter. And ultimately, all of movement in martial arts, all of movement in sport, and all of movement in self-defense is about employing your effective zone and getting out of his. If it's not, you're doing something wrong. Because the goal is to not get hit. The goal shouldn't be sit here and trade blows with each other. The goal should be hit him, not get hit. Okay? Now, it's inevitable, because fighting is fast, scary, and painful. It's inevitable that you're going to suffer some damage. Our goal with movement is to mitigate that and decrease it to a point where he suffers far more damage than I do. Okay? So to do that, we need to get out of his effective zone. Saya Miles, face me. Put your arms out. So Saya Miles' effective zone's here, mine's here. These are our effective zones. This is where I've got to worry about all his strength. Okay? So, boy howdy, wouldn't it be nice, don't move, wouldn't it be nice if I could somehow get here? Wouldn't it be nice if I could get outside this arm and work my effective zone is now here, and I can work him? Now, that's a fantasy, because he'll move. Right? If Saya Miles faces me, you don't need your effective zone, just put your hands up. If Saya Miles faces me and I move over here, what does he do? He turns. Right? That's the whole point. He's trying to reacquire me with his effective zone. So what does this mean? This means that your initial movement in any realistic self-defense scenario should involve counter-striking and attacking. It should involve engaging with your opponent, because the angles decide the winner by and large. And if you have an angle for an instant, you need to be prepared to take advantage of that, because there are no frozen moments in time in self-defense. We've talked about this before. Put your hand up, throw your right punch at me. Boom, 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 boom. Rip, boom, right? I'm just dominating him because he's standing there and letting me, which is completely unrealistic. I got outside his effective zone. Now, shouldn't I be able to do whatever I want? Sure, do that again. I'm outside his effective... Oh, wait, I'm not outside his effective zone. He turned. See, I'm too busy congratulating myself on a wonderful forward angled step. I didn't do anything. You have to be able to do something when you get outside the effective zone. So when I'm here and I get outside the effective zone, boom! While he was resetting, I hit him with my left. That is how angles work. It's not about the fantasy of getting outside and twisting, turning, kicking, kneeing, elbowing, grabbing his ear, taking him to mom and turning him in. That isn't the real thing that happens. The real thing that happens is he throws that punch and boom! That's the only time you got. But if I hit him hard, if it's a significant blow, and I was off angle, step off angle again, and I was off angle, now he's stunned, and he's still off angle. Even though he's getting back into my zone, I'm not standing still either. As he spins and to get back in, boom, boom, I step over here, change my angle, I'm getting outside his power zones. If I get him and he stumbles, boom, 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 boom. That is how you use effective zones against him. You can't imagine for an instant that all you need to do is get outside of an effective zone and the fight's over. Okay? But you do need to get outside the effective zone if you want to end the fight. Because otherwise, we're right here and we're trading blows. Boom, 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 boom. And that doesn't work in real life. We don't have gloves. Any one of those punches could knock me out. Any one of those punches could knock him out. Those are not the odds I'm willing to fight under, especially in self-defense. I am not willing to hope my punches will knock him out before his knock mine out. This is not sport. I don't have 3 rounds. I don't have an official. I don't have a judge. I don't have a corner. I don't have a medical staff to help me in case I get knocked out. In a self-defense situation, I have to not get hurt. So, we've got to worry about this effective zone. We have to be aware it exists, and we have to be able to get outside of it. Okay? Now the truth is, it's really hard to get outside of the effective zone. And the truth is, you will constantly find yourself back inside the effective zone. But if you're ready for that, and you understand that that's what fighting is, it won't overwhelm you when you find yourself here and we're moving around and I'm moving and he's moving and I'm trying to get out and I just can't get past this effective zone. This is really hard, right? Because it's so hard to get rid of an effective zone until the fighting starts. Getting outside of his effective zone without fighting means I'm stepping out here, but he's stepping and now wait, I haven't turned, I tried to get out. He was able to reorient. He's the pivot point if I act first. Okay? I'm not saying don't act first. I'm saying recognize that he becomes the pivot as I move. All he has to do is pivot, right? If we're facing each other and I go over here, I have to step. He just has to pivot. Okay? I step, he pivots. Okay, which is faster, right? So you have to do something about that to slow him down or reset him or stay outside that zone. And getting outside the effective zone is one of the major arguments of grappling and trapping in self-defense. One of the major arguments for grabbing somebody in self-defense situations is I am now controlling my opponent and not allowing them to present their effective zone to me again. Right? The idea being, put your arm out again, the idea being once I get out here and I'm doing all this stuff to him, right? He can't turn his effective zone. I've got my effective zone and he doesn't because I'm on him. And as he tries to try to spin out, I can spin with him. And you see, now he doesn't have an effective zone and I do. And that's great. And that's wonderful. If we're generally equal height, equal strength, if I really know what I'm doing in a grappling situation. But if I've taken a 3-hour seminar on joint manipulation, none of that's going to work in real life. Like he throws that punch out, I'm like, oh wait, that didn't work, right? I'm out of your zone, oh wait, that didn't work, right? You've got to be good at that stuff. Okay? You got to be good at everything, but I prefer movement. I prefer getting away. I prefer this. Throw that punch again. I prefer that. This is what I prefer. This is also outside an effective zone because I'm 5 feet away from him. I'm 8 feet away from him. Okay? So I like that. I like exiting the scene. But there will come a time, if you're in a fight where you have to defend yourself physically, you've got to think, okay, I've got to get outside of his effective zone or outside of her effective zone, and I have to defend myself. At the instant I find myself outside the effective zone, I have to be delivering punishment. Okay? Keep the effective zone in your mind when you train. Always think about 45 degrees off from here. If they turn sideways, they've turned some of their effective zone away from you. That's pretty nice. You only have to get out of this much. Okay? So you're going to head that way. But remember, if you head that way, they just have to pivot. So you've got to head that way and do something quickly. All right? That's effective zone. Keep it in mind when you train. Go back to all the drills you've ever learned, and now imagine using it to get outside of your opponent's effective zone.